Thank you so much, Aunt Reva, for letting me know I'm not getting sound. For some reason, I always forget to turn that mute button off. So let me start over. This Just So You Know, Mom, is brought to you by Dr. LaShonda Jackson-Dean and Jackson-Dean Investments. Just so you know, Dr. Jackson-Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, I am a life coach, a speaker, a life and success strategist, and an author. I inspire, empower. Thank you so much, Aunt Reva, for letting me know I'm not getting sound. For some reason, I always forget to turn that. I wonder why. Now I'm getting feedback here. Mom, is brought to you by Dr. LaShonda Jackson-Dean Investments. Just so you know, Dr. Jackson-Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, I am a life coach, a speaker, a life and strategist, and an author. Let me turn this off. I inspire, power. Now I'm getting feedback. Okay, now we're back in business. So, just so you know, we finished up last week a 3-part session on the pain of. We started with the pain of being led by your emotions. The second week, we followed it up with the pain of rejection. And then the final part of the third week series, it was the pain of denying yourself. And so just to get started, let's go ahead and do a recap on the pain of. So, just so you know, Dr. Jackson-Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, in most cases, our emotions dictate our motions. What I mean by this is that your thoughts and your feelings will eventually lead to, hey, how you doing? Thank you, TK. Your thoughts and your feelings will eventually lead to the decisions that you make. Regarding rejection, I say to you that every rejection is not bad. Sometimes rejection is just redirection to something better. In regards to denying yourself, in order to get to the best version of yourself, you have to let go of the old version of you. You have to be willing to let go what's holding you down so that you can fly. The name of this 3-part series of starting this week is called So a Man Thinks. This week's segment is entitled Victory Over the Temptation to Quit. So a man thinks, victory over the temptation to quit. On the Just So You Know moment, with a twist, we aim to detect and correct. Detect and correct. So let's go. We're still in the month of June. June is National Safety and Child Awareness Month. So be safe out there and be sure to keep children, not just your children, but all children safe. So let's say hello to everyone. Hey, my cousin Tammy Henderson, my classmate Fred Smith, and got TK and Danielle on here, Lewis, Aunt Reva, Brandy. Oh, no, the branding guy. He said he can't hear. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, last week during my final episode of The Pain of the segment, denying yourself was met with so much chaos. I'll try to get started today, huh? The sound went out. I kept going because I knew that this recording just had to get out. And plus, I'm always recording on 2 separate platforms, okay? So where it wasn't picking up on one, it was picking up on the other. So I was trying to make sure that message got out. So when the sound went out, then the visuals went out. I kept going because I knew my listeners could still hear me, and I was vigilant and not quitting because I knew for sure that the message I was teaching was one that needed to be taught. The message was on purpose. And there were people who needed to hear that they were not a mistake and that each one of us have a purpose. The internet went out. So first we had the audio to go out. Then we had the visuals to go out. And then the internet went out. But that was fine because I had already planted the seed on the message, and the ones who were there, they heard a lot of it before the actual internet went out. So I invited everyone to come out for a second broadcast the next day. Hebrews 10:32 says, remember those earlier days after you have received the light, when you endured the great conflict full of suffering. And that's exactly what I was going through. I was going through conflict and suffering while I was trying to get the message out, because I was doing my part. My part was focusing on my purpose to get the message out that was put in me. So I was doing my part. But the conflict full of suffering was trying to take that away from me. So the next day was not without any issues either. The temptation to quit surfaced and told me, see, this is not your purpose, and you should just use this as your way out of this. Really? I had to stop and ask, out of it? What is it? And the response was, the it was the responsibility. The it was my responsibility to get the message out to those who desired to hear. So on the second day, the chaos hit again with that, and it happened the same way. Have any of y'all seen the movie Groundhog Day? Have y'all seen that movie? So you know what, Groundhog Day, the guy, what is his name? I can't even think of what his name is right now, but Belushi, I believe. Every morning he would wake up to the same day over and over and over again. And so that's the way I felt. I felt like from that first Wednesday night where things happened, and then the next day, you know, for the first night on Wednesday, the audio went out, then the visuals went out, then the internet went out. And then the next day, the same thing happened again. And so I was like, what is going on? Why am I all of this experiencing the same thing over and over again? But that's the way things was happening. It would begin out smooth, just smooth enough to lure me into a sense of false security. And we've all been in one of those senses where we feel like, yeah, everything's going well. I got this under control. I can handle this. A false sense of security. And that's exactly what I was in on Thursday night. It was a false sense of security because everything started off smooth, like everything was going to happen just the way it was supposed to be. Then one by one, calamity would erupt. The audio left. It kept going. I just kept going with that. The visuals left. I kept going. And then I said, I'll show you. But it showed me because the internet was cut. But this time I knew in my spirit that lives indeed changed. And people were becoming aware of the fact that everyone has a gift. Hebrews 10:33 says, sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution, and other times you stood side by side with those who were also treated the same way. I kept the faith. I kept going, and with all the issues that occurred, when it all was over, I received several emails and inboxes from people who witnessed the episode. The one that experienced the most chaos, the one that was not as smooth as the rest, and the one that I fought through the calamity was the one that was the game changer. You wouldn't believe, I'm flooded with emails with people telling me how much they enjoyed the show and that it really woke up something in them and they felt like, hey, I'm special. I got a purpose. I'm going to do this. I need to wake up. I need to start doing something. I was hearing from different people saying that this is what woke them up, and I thank God for that message. Even though, like my mom said, Satan didn't want that message to get out, but it got out. Evidently it got out because, like I said, all the emails and letters were coming in because of that. This was a game changer because even through the temptation to quit, and that's what I was feeling, because I was like, why is this not working? This is simple. People go live for it. The least amount of things every day. So why is it that I'm having so many problems with this live on today and with this particular message? I pressed through. I pressed through. And so the same goes for you. When you get to those points where you're really working on something and you really feel like you got a handle on it, and all of a sudden it just goes into the pits on you. You just got to keep pressing through and pressing through and pressing through and pressing through and pressing through till you come out on the other side. Although the temptation to quit lingered around to see if I would break, I pushed through. Even when temptation to quit spoke to me and told me that I should use this as a way to get out of it, I came back and completed what I intended. Hebrews 10:34 says, "You suffered along with them in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property," and that was my show, was being confiscated, "because you knew that you yourself had better and lasting possessions." The possessions was the message. The possessions was the message. Hey, Sonia Lowe. You see, I know what my purpose is. And it's about, I was just about to give in to that temptation to quit. And it was just on me to just give in to it. Don't let it worry you. Don't be a part of it. It's not working out anyway. But had I quit, I would have been giving up on my calling as well, because I have seen in life, when you become fine with quitting things of importance, you will start a pattern. And we've all have seen that, where a point where we've worked on things and it just seemed like maybe it's too difficult, or maybe it's just too convoluted. And so you figure, hey, this must not be for me. That's what I felt like. Those were my feelings last Wednesday and Thursday night. I was like, this must not be for me to be having all of these issues for a simple life. But it was definitely the game changer. The emails and the letters started pouring in. People were like, that was a breakthrough for me. What you said was definitely a breakthrough for me, because for a long time I felt like, hey, this ain't working for me. Nothing's working for me. I must have been a mistake. Why am I here? All of these type of questions. These are the type of emails I was receiving. But they said after they heard the show, they realized that they had a purpose as well. And they wanted to do what they could to work on their own purpose. I also will tell you this. When you quit your calling, the opportunity will come back around and provide you another chance to get it right. We all have heard, when you take a test and you fail it, you have to take that test again. Hey, Mr. Bradford, when you take a test and you fail it, you got to repeat that test again. That's with God, okay? You have to take that test until you pass it. The same goes for this. I would do it until it's time for me to stop. Hebrews 10:35 says, "So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded." How many of you are suffering from the temptation to quit right now? Come on, y'all, don't leave me out here by myself, making me feel like I'm the only one. I'm the only one on this line that's ever considered quitting something, especially something of importance, something that you knew that you had to do. But you decided that, hey, This is too hard. Or this is not for me. Or I'm not sure about what I'm doing. So I better get out of this before I get too deep. Anyone? Oh, I guess I'm the only one that experienced it, but that's okay. How many of yourself find yourself doing well? Sonya Lowe said, I can't quit. A nation is waiting on me. Go, girl, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mika Diamond. Thank you for joining. That's what I'm talking about, Sonya Lowe. Sonya Lowe said she can't quit. A nation is waiting on her. I feel the same way, sis. A nation is waiting on me too. That's why I couldn't quit the other night. Although temptation was there. Temptation was lurking all around me. Temptation was ever present with me. And I still wouldn't quit. I kept pressing through. So how many of you find yourself doing well, and then all of a sudden you feel stumped at what you're doing? Anybody on here that feels that way? Still nobody, huh? Okay, everybody just moving right through their stuff. That's good. I'm proud of you. High five up top for all of y'all that's just moving straight through your stuff with no problem. When you get to this point where you feel like that you have the temptation to quit, you find yourself coming up with every reason in the world as to why you should quit. When you find yourself doing well, and then the plan changes and it shakes your confidence. How many of y'all have had your confidence shaken? I have. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best at everything. I fail. I get worried. Do any of you? Let's see what Sonya Lowe says. We have to realize that our calling is purpose. That's what I just said. Absolutely. When we get close, the enemy will try to stop you. It does every time, and that's what he did for me. That's what he did for me. He wanted to come in and just snatch it all up because I felt like it wasn't working, because everything was going the wrong way. Nothing was working the way that it should have been working that night. So I felt like maybe this is my time. But I kept going. I kept going. I kept going. I kept pushing through. When you're doing good and you talk to your friends and in so many words they tell you that what you're doing ain't really about nothing. How about that? You know how they do. Your little live, your little show. Y'all don't get that when you're trying to do something? Huh? You don't get that when you're trying to do something and you try to go and you talk to people and you say, hey, I'm doing this and I want you to support me, and not necessarily telling them to support you, but you're telling them about it because you want them to come on in and support you. And they say, I heard about your little show. Yeah, and you know, everything is little. Sonya Lowe said, that's why we need encouragers in our life to remind us of our purpose. Absolutely, that is so correct. And Mika Diamond said, yes, ma'am, the naysayers all the time. They step right in there. They ain't gonna do nothing, don't want you to do nothing. Huh? What? That's right. That's what happens. Now, you could do a few things with that. You can let it take place and you go ahead and tell them about themselves. You can quit because someone else is unhappy about what you're doing, or you can just ignore them and keep pushing through with your purpose. Sonya Lowe says, God did not give the dream to them, so they do not understand. That's right, they will not understand. That's right. The dream wasn't given to them. The purpose wasn't given to everybody. Has their own purpose. So whatever your purpose is, it's okay that nobody believes in your dream. They don't have to believe in your dream as long as you believe in your dream. That's all that matters. That's all that really, really matters. And you can't let them bring you down. Your feelings may be hurt, right? Because we will get in our feelings sometimes. Our feelings may be hurt, but you can never be defeated by something that someone else thinks about you. You can only be defeated by what you think about you. That's how you become defeated. My earpiece. Oh, look, I brought this little thing here for ears. Don't buy these. These right here. Don't buy them. I've been fussing and fighting with this thing all day. It won't stay in my ear. I was trying to upgrade and get, the little bud thing. I used to have the one with the clip around your ear. And so I traded it for this. I'm going back to my clip because I need something to hold this in my ear because this ain't working. So until number 3, you on your number 3 earbud? TK says she's on number 3. I heard that. Until you have felt the pride of actually completing something that you started, quitting will always be easy. Quitting will always be the first resort to everything that you do. Anything that becomes a little bit tough, a little bit hard, you'll be ready to quit. But if you start liking the feeling, the way the thing that it gives you, the feeling that it gives you, the accolades of being able to complete something that you started, to actually complete it. If you don't ever get to feel that feeling, quitting is going to be easy for you. But once you feel that, you start wanting to complete other things. You start wanting to continue on and make it to the finish line for something else. Miss Reva said, if it is to be, it's up to me. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. If it is to be, it's up to me. All of that ties into what I was telling you about the way that you talk to yourself. The things that you say to yourself. Yourself is always listening, whether it's you verbalize it or it's mentally. You got to change your thoughts all the way on what you're doing in order for you to be successful and for you to complete any task that you have. You have to. You cannot allow anyone else to dictate how you handle your purpose. Put your trust in God and not in man. People are going to talk regardless. They're going to talk if you do good. They're going to talk if you do bad. If you ain't doing nothing, they're going to still find something to talk about. So give them something to talk about. I try to give them something to talk about. I try to make sure I give them something to talk about. Because I know they're talking anyway. And it's not easy to win the victory over the temptation to quit. So you have to practice. And those same people that you're talking to and they're telling you about your little show and your little this and little that or whatever, them same folks, if you don't watch them, would be over trying to do the same thing and get their little show too. And guess what I say? Congratulations. Congratulations. Because I want everybody to do well. I want us all to do good. I'm not in competition with anyone. I want us all to do well because it's enough out there for us all. You just got to get up and do something. They will always go live with your failures, but they'll scroll right past your success. You've seen it. We see it every day on Facebook. You can put something that you achieve You might get 2 likes. Put some crap on there, you get 500 likes to it, right? Hey, Latrice Bradley, my beautiful cousin and classmate. How about that? But yeah, that keeps scrolling right on through your stuff. But that's all right. They don't have to like your wins, but win anyway. Keep winning on them. Win, 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 win. Just keep winning on them. Every time they see you, just be winning. Win, win, win. Win, win, win. Every time they see you. But that's okay. Keep going. A lot of people look at you and they say, well, she says that. She says keep winning and she don't worry about that. She's so arrogant. But what it is that anytime insecurity meets confidence, it's always seen as arrogance. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? You're confident, and then the ones looking at you like, oh, she's so arrogant. No, it's confidence. They think it's arrogance because they want to always have something negative to say. But like I said with that, keep on winning on them. Keep winning. Keep winning. Hebrews 10:36 says, you need to persevere. You need to persevere. You need to persevere. That's what it says. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. So is it looping? Or did you just hear me say that over again? Because I did repeat it 3 times. So take this day to change the way that you think about yourself. If your self-thoughts of those are negativity, figure out what you're lacking to turn your thoughts into positivity. If your thoughts are positive, but you're still stuck, take one step at a time in faith to move forward with implementing whatever it is that you're called to do. Fight for what you want. Fight for where you want to be in your life. Be willing to fight for whatever it is that you want to do. Fight for the best version of you. If your pursuit is to be great, you can't quit on everything. If you are pursuing greatness, everything can't shake you. If greatness is in your future, there will always be things that make you cry, make you upset, and make you pray harder. There's nothing wrong with praying harder. Pray. But if you're able to withstand the hurt, the initial disappointments, the loneliness and isolation, if you can continue to work, it will be oh so worth it. It'll be worth it. You have to go speak to yourself and encourage yourself through it all and over the finish line. Just so you know, Dr. Jackson-Dean, the Pen Slayer, says, remember this. There is one way you can be right with either choice. If you think you can, then you can. And if you think you cannot, you cannot. Just simple as that. That's the one way that you'll be right in both instances. If you think you can, you can. And if you think you cannot, you cannot. So let me read one of my emails. So, dear Dr. Jackson, just so you know, I've been watching your live show every week and I'm really enjoying them. I'm waiting on you to do more business topics. I know you know a lot about business because I've heard you on a few radio interviews and I've read your books. My issue is, I just recently opened a cupcake business and initially I had a partner that started with me, but when the business got slow, she left and went back to work, leaving me in a financial bind. Well, business has picked up, and now she is saying negative things about me and my business. She asked me to come back She asked me to come back, but she wanted to come back with nothing. She just wanted to start back to working in the evenings. I told her there was no real reason for her to come back. She then sent me a cease and desist letter for me to discontinue using the name until she got a percentage. Wow. This really hurt me. She was my friend, and for her to do all of this has been hard for me. I don't think she would do anything further because she doesn't have any money, but I am at a loss. What should I do? Yolanda M. from San Antonio, Texas. So, hey Yolanda M., thank you so much for writing in. I appreciate you watching the show. Thank you so much for your support and for purchasing books. Yay, thank you. In regards to your situation with your cupcake shop, congratulations on your business and congratulations for not quitting. Just keep pushing forward. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. Now, in regards to your friend, now I'm not sure because you didn't tell me how much money she put in initially, but I know you both were in this business and it wasn't doing anything. But when it did finally picked up, you were by yourself. Now, in regards to her sending you a cease and desist letter, I have to ask you, just how attached are you to that name? And that was one of the things I talked about with one of my previous episodes. You have to stop being attached to everything, especially if it's not profiting you anything, really. So you have a location. Your location is set. Everybody know that you're there. Everybody know that you're making cupcakes there. Change the name to finally get through with the situation with her, get her completely out of it. If that's the only thing she's asking, is that you stop using the name because it was both of y'all named together, change the name. Just do that. I think that will save you a whole lot of heartache in the long run. After that, in regards to her coming back, that's a decision that you need to make now. You already see what she's doing. She's already threatening you with legal action. So if she's not willing to bring any monetary value to the business to assist you going forward, she just wants to start back and then become partners again and get a percentage. That just doesn't work. If she's going to come back, she needs to bring in some type of funding. That's the way I feel about it. Now, to completely get rid of this situation, just change the name. Just go and change the name and be done with it. I would like to speak to you further with this. A lot of things I didn't want to say on the live. But my number's there. Give me a call and let's talk about it. This concludes our segment or this episode for this week, So a Man Thinks, Victory Over Temptation to Quit. Please join me next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another episode. For more information on Dr. LaShonda Jackson-Dean, the books and the services that I offer, visit me online at www.drlashondajacksondean.com. See you next week for Just So You Know, Moments with a Twist. Bye! See y'all later.